Welcome to the Land Cave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hello! Look at my new
Yeah,
camera!
it's so pretty. We're here talking gaming news, video games, nerd news, mostly involving gaming, video game development, and all kinds of cool stuff. Because if there's so much stuff going on in gaming that we want to have a place where we can kind of chat and talk about all of it. And if you don't have time to catch up on everything, you can just hang out with us and we'll talk about gaming with you. That's what we do here. I'm Patrick, as I said. Owen's over here, and yeah, we introduce ourselves multiple times sometimes, so that's what happens. Some updates, by the way, as we wanted to kind of get this going. We've been doing this podcast for quite a while, and we've had some other streams of media coming at you. But we got two new things that are coming at you. One, start out with a bang, really quick, out of nowhere. It's Breaking Cinematic Universes. It's a new podcast, so if you listen to our podcast, you're already going to get it in your RSS feed. You probably already saw it. It's a podcast with me and my buddy Trevor, where we talk about basically comic book movies, comic book adaptations for TV. We're going to talk about news, as well as like the first episode where we talked about our top 10 casting decisions, in our opinion, for comic book movies, the ones that we thought were most accurate to the source material, and purposely got some interesting ones and maybe some ones you could argue with us on, but that's kind of the idea behind it. And so yeah, it's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be in podcast form. So if you already subscribe to us on YouTube and podcasts, you're going to get it. And I hope you enjoy it. If you like nerd comic book movies, then yeah, I hope you like it. And Owen's got a new show too. Owen, what you got?
Yeah, so my new show, Ex Libris, hopefully going to be debuting next month. I'm hoping to start live streams, which I'm going to be using as a part of the show next week. But the thing is that I recently discovered that I own over 500 video games, and this is just mainly of the last generation. So like we're talking PS4, Xbox One, Switch. There is some older stuff in there, but not as much. But I realized that I just don't play as many games as I buy or download or add for free. So I want to change that. So I'm going to be going through my library. I'm going to decide I'm going to play a game for an hour. We're going to do that live on facebook.com/TheLanCave. I'm going to see, hey, do I want to keep playing this game or do I want to put it on the shelf forever? And I'm going to cut that up. Actually, Patrick's going to cut that up because he's a master editor like that. We're going to put that up on YouTube, probably a 10 to 20 minute show. And we're going to go through my library of video games, one game at a time. I'm really excited about it. Me and Patrick have been talking about it for the last few weeks. We just started cutting some B-roll. Patrick wrote an awesome 8-bit soundtrack for the intro and outro. Be excited, because I'm very excited for it. So I hope to start streaming that next week, sometime during the week.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about it because I enjoy editing. I think it's a really cool idea, especially with the amount of backlog games. I think it's a thing that all of us gamers have. We have so many video games. We don't have enough time to play all the games that we want to play, and going back, instead of buying the brand spanking new shiny game, sometimes those dusty games are gems in there. So I think it's gonna be cool uncovering some of those gems. It's good stuff.
And then Patrick, you're playing through a little series on Saturday mornings.
I am. So Saturday mornings, thank you for reminding me, because we're going to get these updates out of the way. Saturday mornings on Facebook, and I may do it elsewhere, other times as well, but Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning, I'm going to be streaming Resident Evil games, starting at Resident Evil 0. It's already started, so if you caught some of my gameplay there, if not, you can watch it on YouTube. I've archived all of it. You get to see my commentary about not only the puzzles, but the lore. I'm playing all of the Resident Evil games in chronological order of the timeline, as it were, so I can better piece together the story when Resident Evil 8 comes out. I'm assuming Resident Evil 8 will come out in the spring next year, so it's gonna be a bit.
I think that's what they said. I want to say they said early 2021. I actually don't. They obviously didn't put a date on it, but go Capcom releasing them one Resident Evil game every single year. We got Resident Evil 3 remake this year, Resident Evil 8 next year. They're banging.
Yeah, and Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. I haven't played 3 yet. I've heard it's good. I heard people were saying it was short. but as I've experienced playing Resident Evil 0, I believe I'm about a quarter of the way through the game, and I'm like 2.5 hours in.
I always
Um,
thought they were around 10-hour games. Am I wrong about
yeah,
that?
they're not that long. What will slow you down is the puzzles. That's what's going to slow you down.
Gotcha.
And I will admit, I have a non-spoilery walkthrough to help in some of the stupid puzzles. To things like, what time do you put the when you find the needle for the minute hand of the clock?
Sure.
What hour do you put it on? I'm like, no. That's fine. Finding things organically, cool, but stupid stuff like that I have a walkthrough for. You're playing a game that is, because we always talk about games as we start the show, we always talk about our games we are playing. You're playing a game that's uncharacteristically dark for you, though. So how are you liking The Last of Us 2?
So I'm enjoying it. As Patrick mentioned, this is not a game that's normally in my wheelhouse. I don't really enjoy this. I don't enjoy jump scary games. I don't really enjoy zombie games that much where I'm getting attacked and slight horror. But luckily, this one's more dramatic. Obviously, I'm playing it because the first one was amazing. I just last night got to the definitive halfway point. It is absolutely the halfway point. If you've played through the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So far, I have not run into some of the criticism that people have faced where they talk about the pacing and so on. I believe the first half of the game is paced very well. I enjoyed it. I'm thinking of turning it down to easy, though, mainly because I'm having a very stressful time playing it. I can only play it for about 2 hours at a time, and that's been consistent. I'm 14 hours in, so you're talking this has taken me about 7 days to get 14 hours in. So I'm thinking about bumping it down to easy.
Yeah, so the gameplay's been challenging for you.
Yeah, I'm not very good at video games to begin with, but it's more I'm playing with headphones on, and I'm fine with that normally, but headphones, I have very nice, HyperX Clouds. Hey, you should sponsor us. That is surround sound and everything, and so you get these clickers, and you get the runners, and you get that little crying, and you get that in your head, and like it's jarring for me. I don't enjoy it, so I might bump it down to easy just so I'm less stressed about it and getting more ammunition, because I tend to like not freak out, but like a clicker will like jump at me and I'm like, I'm like gripping my controller, I clench my teeth a little bit. So I'm looking forward to finishing it, but I might bump it down to easy just for the second half, just so I can kind of get through it a little bit easier than the first half, because it was stress inducing.
And we will say that there are some things that the internet has not liked about the game. I'm glad that I spoiled myself, because I'm going to go into it when I do play it. I'm going to go into it and being able to actually enjoy the ride and not. I think that hopefully this has lessened some of the impact where I would have maybe been upset about some of the choices from the story, but at the same time, I have heard nothing but good things when it comes to the gameplay and the visuals. I've heard this is basically pinnacle for PlayStation 4, which is fitting, as I'd say The Last of Us showed the top end of what a PS3 could do. How is the gameplay compared to the first one? Has it improved in regards to like the shooting?
I actually meant to send you a GIF to include, and it was just a GIF that I saw from Twitter of what somebody was able to do combat-wise. It's much improved over Last of Us 1. There's this GIF again, but it's recorded gameplay where this guy literally like pulls out his rifle, shoots a guy in the face, throws a bottle in another guy's face, shoots him with a shotgun, does a backwards slide. So like he uses the dodge mechanic. You dodge and run are the same button, so you use the dodge mechanic and prone at the same time, and he was able to slide backwards and throw a Molotov at somebody else's face. I'm never going to be able to do that.
That's next level, man.
Yeah, but it's good. It's solid. There's still some AI moments where like my little side character friend, you know, just like in the first of us, Ellie would be like right there sitting in front of somebody and the game doesn't acknowledge her. That happens
Sure.
again in this game where my side partner is standing in front of somebody because they didn't hide right. And so it's like, here's a guy, I'm prone behind this wall, and there's this other dude, the enemy is just like do 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 do, but I also can't walk over to him and stealth him because my cohort is in the way.
Yeah.
So that is still there. That's still the Naughty Dog thing. But in terms of like where they're at with gameplay, it's still great.
It's still good, yeah. So that's the takeaway. Even the people who I saw Boogie and a bunch of others who talked about things they didn't like about the games when it came to, like I said, some story choices and everything. And even they were like, you should still play this because it is that good of a game. So take that in mind, take that into account. Find the time to play it especially if you played the first one. I'm kind of breaking news today. We've had some breaking news. First up, we have Bethesda teasing a Fallout TV series, which this is the showrunners for Westworld doing Fallout as a TV series, and I think this world is so fitting for a TV series. It's dark, but it's kind of zany. It has comedy to it, so I think it's going to fit. It's going to fit really well on Amazon Prime works. I would have expected an HBO tie-in, not because of Westworld, just because I feel like it fits well into HBO's repertoire of their HBO series. But I'm excited about it. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not an HBO series, right?
Yeah, I know. I said it's Prime.
Oh, okay.
It's Amazon. I was saying I think it would have been fitting to be HBO.
Okay.
It's going to be an Amazon original, which is fine. Amazon originals still have a pretty good breadth of different shows. But the first thing that I thought was like, man, this would really resonate as an HBO show. But then again, I thought, you know what, Amazon with Marvelous Miss Maisels and other stuff, they've shown they can span the gamut of styles, and they don't have to worry about ratings the way that a broadcast TV show has to do that. So obviously they're going to have some type of rating, but they don't have to fight the censors as much. They can say, yeah, this is going to be rated MA, that's fine, or whatever. And MA, sorry, and for mature.
So I saw this and I thought of you immediately because as much as you're critical of Bethesda, that's because you're such a fan. What are you excited?
I'm excited for interesting interactions of people, because similar to how Walking Dead and Last of Us, you have a weird and a crazy environment, post-apocalyptic environment and everything, but it's about the character interactions. It's about how they deal with and cope with their situation. And in the Fallout universe, where you have people who have purposely isolated in bunkers, in shelters, to survive a nuclear fallout, they're emerging from that. So society has changed outside, society has changed inside these shelters, and society's trying to rebuild as well as trying to cope with the future by living in the past. So it's a really weird mix. I think it's going to be really cool seeing that kind of stuff, and seeing either legit pop culture or fake pop culture pop in, where people are like reading. One of the things in Fallout's like collecting comic books, because there's not a lot of new media out there. So you collect these comic books of old, essentially Conan the Barbarian style comic books and that kind of stuff. I just think it's going to be an interesting world. I'm looking forward to exploring that world and people seeing how unique Fallout can be, because it's a futuristic game while it's retro. Like the music is very, a lot of like 20s music playing throughout it, or depending on what game you're in, some like push towards the 40s and 50s, but it's a really cool atmosphere and a really cool juxtaposition. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Are you looking forward to it?
Not at all.
No.
But you know me and Fallout. This might actually be the thing that gets me into Fallout. We reported it on the Facebook page proper. It's not really news, but Fallout 76 is coming to Game Pass on PC and Xbox next week. And I've even said on the show that free to play is the only way I'm playing Fallout 76. So I might actually check it out on my PC sometime. Uh, so this show though might be the thing that gets me into at least the world. It's just never been a thing that I've been like particularly excited about. And then I saw that the Westworld people were doing it, and I know that excites other people. I just hope, and this is me being kind of critical, but I hope that it doesn't do what Westworld did, where you can fight me on this, crowd, but season 2 was not good, and it actually made me and my wife stop watching the series because like the first 6 episodes were awful. So I hope that they do what they did in the first season, make it awesome, make it narratively compelling, and ride that, into future seasons, because I imagine this is going to be a multi-season show.
You're not the only person who rage quitted, or if you want to call it rage quitted, whose love fizzled for Westworld. Whitney and I couldn't get past the first, I think second or third episode we stopped of the second season. I want to go back and watch it to see what happens to this, because I really liked the first season, but I just didn't like what they did in the second season. We got a lot of news to get through here, so we'll kind of go through some of these quicker. Apologies for the pacing, but we want to make sure you guys get all this. There's a lot of Harry Potter news that has been going on in regards to J.K. Rowling, but ignore all that. We're going to talk about fun things. What you're seeing here is the leaked footage of a Harry Potter RPG that was supposed to come out, and everybody's been quiet about it. Reportedly, this is going to be due for PlayStation 5 and Series X. We probably would have seen this next year. Yeah, sorry, next year. We probably would have seen this at E3 if WB had gotten to do their presser, but who knows? So I'm hoping that. Sorry, it stopped there, but I'm hoping we get to see it. Some legit trailer, because this is hard to see. It's someone recorded this with their phone with really bad lighting and everything. Yeah. This is all I can find of it, but. I mean, I think it's still a cool world to explore, no matter what is going on out, in the meta world.
In the real world? The meta world?
Well, in the meta, I like Harry Potter, but I can separate that from from the creator. So
I get.
At the same time, do you if you buy it, you're going to give her money? But anyways, I think this looks cool, especially for some Potterheads out there. Yeah,
there's a whole string of people who don't even follow what's going on the internet and have no idea what's going on. So if this game is any kind of good, it is going to do very well financially. It's being made by Avalanche. I always get Avalanche and Avalanche Studios because they're both of those exist, people. One of them though made Disney Infinity. And that is the studio, I believe, that's working on this game. It's supposed to be open world. It's not following Harry Potter. You're I think you're going to get to create your own character, which is the exciting part.
Yes.
I want to see the game. I want to see the gameplay. I'm thinking can you make it Dragon Age but with Harry Potter? So give me a good strong narrative for my character. Those are things that I want.
Dude, instead of picking classes, you pick your house.
I want to get sorted based on choices, just like on Pottermore. I want them to be what do you think about this? I want a questionnaire or something at the beginning of the game, and then I want to get sorted. But I think you actually start as a 5th year or something like that, because they don't want to get you. I think they don't want to make you, where you don't know Wingardium Leviosa and all that good stuff. I get all the bad stuff aside, I still want to see the game. If the game is good, I will play it. If it doesn't look good, I won't. So
I'm the same. I'm anxious to see some more of this, because the Lego Harry Potter game was as close as I got to playing Harry Potter stuff, and it was okay. It's no Star Wars Lego, but it was all right.
Nothing is.
Yeah, it's true. We got AMC pushing back their reopening, by the way, to July 15th. That goes right before Mulan and Tenet coming out. I want to see both of these movies, but at the same time, I love going to the movies, but I'm not going to go.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. You think they're?
It's not going to reopen.
I said when Disney delayed Mulan, I said they should have put it out on streaming. They shouldn't have delayed. They should have just put it out on streaming for $20 a pop.
I'll buy it.
Buy it, rent it for the first couple months, then buy it. I would have rented the movie by now for $20, and then I would have bought it by now, because you would have had rentals from March until now, and then you would have had people buying it in June.
I would have got Tenet too.
Yeah. I really want to see that one. I really, really want to see that. I love how, very similar to Inception, how little we know about the movie.
Yeah.
And it really intrigues me. So,
and I know that that's a Nolan thing. I know that that's a pride thing. He does not want you to see his movie on television for the first time. And, I know that that was his call to not make it a streaming thing. Like, I know that the studios probably could overrule him, but when you're Christopher Nolan, you get to rule with an iron fist probably. But Mulan, though, come on. Did you guys not see the success of Trolls? And Trolls is it's not Mulan, and Mulan looked dope.
Yes.
So I want to see Mulan. AMC says they're going to open July 15th. That's 13 days from now, folks. And if anybody's in any of the states like me and Patrick are, I'm in Texas, he's in Florida, it's not going to happen.
Man, why do we have to live in states with people just being completely stupid?
We got masks. We got a mask announcement today, right before the podcast. So I'm at least excited about that. But they've had that in California, and it's still people pushing back on it. So that's not the podcast for this, but I just don't think AMC is going to open.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And let's just get other things out of the way where it's normally we don't dig into the mud here. But Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch, and we also had temp ban on Donald Trump's Twitch, which citing hateful conduct. But we could go in political about this. The Dr. Disrespect one, I think, is a little more intriguing. I think there's something behind this. They've banned other Twitch streamers in the past. He is not saying why he's been banned, and if you look at historically, when Twitch bans someone and they're not speaking about it, that means something legal is going on. I think that's what's going on here.
So I agree that's something legal, because the thing that happened here is, and there's a lot of people that don't like the doc, and that's absolutely okay. Like, I respect what the doc does in a cinematic fashion. Like, there's no streamer like doc. Like, in terms of the production content, the way that he does all of this by himself and is able to put all that together. No streamer in the world does what he does every single day. So that's like respect worthy. And you can, if you're watching right now and you just saw some of that, like, that's all him doing that production quality. So the weird thing is just everybody that's been banned recently, and for those who don't know, and we didn't include it in this news docket, there's a lot of stuff going on in the gaming world right now, and it's not pretty. I didn't really want to talk about it that much because it deserves to be talked about. The only thing that I'll say about it is believe the people that are coming forward about certain things. But in Doc's case, nobody's come forward about anything. People have been looking into Guy, which is his real name. They've been looking into, like, did something happen to him outside of streaming? Did he get arrested? Is he in any known legal thing? So far, nothing. Twitch just signed a deal worth millions of dollars with him, I think a couple months ago.
Yes. And
so they, have had to end that contract, and there's going to be some legal stuff there where he's going to try and get paid probably, but nobody knows anything. It's the weirdest ban of all time. Every other ban that I've seen, everybody knew why the person was banned. Even if Twitch didn't say it, somebody else was like, yeah, this guy had misconduct, this guy did something sexual, this guy did something racist, whatever. There's always been a reason, but in this case we just have zero clue, and it's weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of speculation. Some of the speculation was, like you said, something that's going on outside of Twitch. Someone pointed out possibly a possible spouse abuse because there was apparently some stream where he either joked about it or there was a reference to it. I don't know, but his wife has been supportive of him on Twitter, so we don't know exactly what it is. There is a conspiracy theory though, because there's always a conspiracy theory on the internet. But the theory, if you haven't heard this, is that because that Twitch signed the multi-million-dollar deal with him, Mixer went under, and Twitch decided to ban him and a couple others purposely to break the contract so they don't have to pay. So that way they don't have to pay him because they don't have to compete with Mixer. They don't think that Facebook's going to be as big as some others think. They think that Twitch is still going to be on top. Twitch is owned by Amazon, if you didn't know. And I'm not talking about Bezos conspiracies. I'm just saying they got enough money that they can say, you know what, we'll keep funneling money into people that we think are gonna make us money, and we don't have to compete as much as we used to. So that's the theory, is that they had enough leverage on him to basically say, oh, we're banning you for X reasons, but really that's the reasoning behind it. I don't know. We don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what else is weird is we still don't know a lot about the Xbox Lockhart. I put up this fan made image here because it's cute. It's cute. We don't know what it's going to look like. Rumor is that this is going to be announced. This is going to be announced soon in August. Now there is a rumored Xbox event going on at the end of July. However, this kind of segues right into some other news here as I kind of mash this together, because Xbox has a Summer Games Fest that's going on of a demo event that's happening in July. So I'm wondering if some of the buzz that was going on and people thinking there was an event going on in July was actually this demo event. That would have been a kind of a fizzle if that's actually what the rumors and buzz was, because Xbox kept talking about things happening in July, and this is what we've heard so far, which isn't bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's a game demo event where the whole week. This is the week of July 21st. For a week, you'll be able to download demos on your Xbox. So instead of going to an expo in person, you can download demos on your Xbox and play games as if you were going to an E3-esque presentation, which I think is really cool. I don't think this is necessarily it, though. I think something else big is happening with Xbox.
100%. We don't know, but we're still assuming that. I think it's going to be within the next week. This event is partnering with Keighley and Summer Games Fest, and it is really cool. Traditionally, I think they do it with games that are actually like out, but in this case, it is 60 brand new, upcoming, unreleased Xbox games.
Dude, 60 games. You want to take a couple days off work?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited about it. I saw some games that I'm already excited about that I'll probably be playing on PlayStation, like Haven and some others. But this is
Crisis Tales, by the way. This will be on there too.
Yeah, this is still a really cool event, and I'm excited to see it. I think it is going to be a good Twitch watching thing that, if anything stands out, me and Patrick will talk about it in a couple weeks when it's happening. But no, I still expect the Series X first party rollout, the same thing that we saw with PlayStation did third party too, but I expect that rollout within the next week or so. We still haven't got an official date on it.
Same here. I would not be surprised if it happened to coincide with this demo fest going on, because this is cool. This is a really cool demo event. Yeah. But it would compound the demo event if like on Wednesday or so, the 22nd of July, if they were like, we're going to do an Xbox event, they could tell us literally the day before, and people are going to be clamoring for it. I agree.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I agree. I'm everyone is waiting for more details, because I would say the fanboys and fangirls out there are going for their respective consoles, but anyone who's on the fence needs to know those deets. Why get the Xbox versus the PlayStation? Why get the PlayStation over Xbox? I can't compare them, and I can't compare them to people who aren't hardcore like we are in gaming news. I have people asking me, hey, well, which one's going to be better, the new Xbox or the new PlayStation? Which one do you think is going to sell more? I don't know, because I don't know what's happening on Xbox. I think PlayStation personally, but we don't even know the price points.
Yeah, I two things. I just don't know why they would announce the Lockhart in August when they haven't announced it previously. I don't know why. If you're gonna release them at the same time, why didn't you mention it before? I think that PS5 was smart to announce both their digital and their disc version at the same time. So what is it about Lockhart? I've been talking about how if it's a dongle, I want it. If it's a dongle for Xbox Game Pass and xCloud, I want that. I probably am still more interested, even if Lockhart's just a digital only system, I'm probably more interested in that than Series X. So just why I don't get the separation, especially since we don't even know how much Series X costs. Yeah. So when are we going to find that out? When are we going to find out how much Lockhart costs? When are we going to find out how much PS5 costs? I actually emailed PlayAsia yesterday because I noticed that they had already put in like the pending charge for my $7.99, and I just was curious. I was like, hey, so we actually don't know the price yet. Are you guys going to refund me if Sony changes the price? And they actually let me know they'll be happy to adjust it at the time. Good stuff. But it was just like I saw an $800 hit on my card, and I was like, okay. So it's just weird that there's that separation. It's weird that we know about this demo event before we know about the next Series X thing. Like, I kind of get that you're exciting people about what they can play this year on the Xbox One, but nobody cares. I'm sure that there's people that do care. I'm not trying to say it that way, but there's already people who have already gotten on board with Game Pass. I know several people personally who aren't even buying things right now because they're just like, that's going to be on Game Pass soon. I'll just get it then. Like, I get that. I just don't get why you would be like, hey, this demo event's coming, but we still haven't shown you anything that's coming from our 15. They have 15 first-party studios now that are supposedly developing games for the Series X. Like, let's talk about that.
I think they're waiting to talk about that. And I think they're waiting to talk about that because they know that when they talk about those games that they have to say they have to say, this game is for Xbox, also on Xbox One, and it deflates, it devalues that beauty of saying this is a precious gem you can only get on the Series X. And if PlayStation is in a similar situation, they are saying, hey, this is on PS5, this is on PS5, but Xbox is in a unique situation where their first-party exclusive games are not going to be on exclusive to the Series X because they're talking so much backwards compatibility. I think that's the reason why we haven't heard from those studios, because when they announce that, they have to announce it and say, coming in 2021 or coming soon, and they don't want to say what. I feel like if they say, hey, it's only Series X, that's a good thing, but they're not going to. What they want to do is they want to say, hey, coming soon, and then you find out, oh, it's also on the Xbox One. I have an Xbox One. I don't know if I'm going to upgrade my Xbox One yet. If it's the dongle, you and I are basically on the same page on that, though. If it's a dongle, if it's a cheap streaming dongle that allows me to play Xbox Series X games, or Series S as people are calling it, I'll totally get that if that's the case. My prediction is the next event that we have for Xbox, they're going to show games, they're going to talk about the price point, and the Lockhart will be one more thing. And
it's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea, and that's what.
Okay, like I'm really trying to like. I realize that we're normally critical of Xbox around here, and that's not on purpose. I think that we've been praising them a lot up until their last conference, or lack
Yeah.
of better words. I think that we've been praising them a lot, and that last conference was pretty bad. It's just I don't. I just like how I don't get what took Sony so long, and then whenever they came out, I was like, okay, cool, that was awesome. I'm glad. I'm waiting for that moment with Xbox where it's like, okay, that makes sense. But I don't know. It's weird to split it up. It's weird to talk about this demo event before whenever we just want I want the new stuff, man. Like this demo stuff is cool. It's there. This is stuff that we'd be getting during E3 for sure, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see the next Gears. I want to see Outer Worlds 2. I
Mm-hmm.
want to see Fable. I want to see
That Fable 4.
give it to me. I want to see that stuff. All this stuff that I saw that was listed, at least like briefly listed in the 60 demos, like it's awesome for demos. I think that the age of demos needs to come back. Everybody who remembers putting in a demo disc,
Yeah.
I think that every game, and I've heard this in several places, I think every game should have a playable demo. I think that it would be awesome to filter out a lot of good and bad stuff. I think that's cool. I just think that we want to hear about Series X stuff right now.
Yeah. No, I agree. If your game is good and I play a demo, I'm gonna buy the game. Like it happens time and time again. Time and time again where and it's a rarity nowadays, but when they say, hey, we got a demo, what was it, the one I was thinking, Neo. I love Souls games, but I was like, I don't know if this is going to even be good. There's a demo for it. Okay. I pre-ordered it like that evening after playing the demo. Demos, if, like I said, if your game is good, it's going to get people are not going to just play the demo over and over again. That's the excuse I've heard from developers. People aren't going to play your demo over and over again. You give them a taste. You give them a taste of what it's going to be, and then they'll come back for more. Speaking of getting tastes and coming back for more, like it was a drug dealer or something. We had some people who were reporting based on Xbox Marketplace note that the Crash Bandicoot 4 game contained microtransactions because of essentially one of the things in the as I ramble here, one of the things that was mentioned on the Xbox game store was that they had in-game purchases. The developers have come back and said there's some confusion about this. There are no microtransactions in Crash 4. As a bonus, the totally tubular skins are included in all digital versions of the game. So if you get the digital version, you get the skins, and those skin offers a retro look for Crash and Coco. So basically, they were saying it's an unfortunate label that's become a catch-all. I'm happy about that because first of all, I'm happy they really quickly answered this. That's how you need to come up and combat this kind of stuff. Because nowadays, if you wait a day in the internet's time, that's way too long. So I'm glad they came out really quickly and answered this, because when I saw that, I was like, "Are you serious? Like, am I not going to buy a Crash game based on this?" That was going to be annoying. So. But if you're thinking about getting it digitally, you get some skins.
The thing that I wonder about is, I remember Crash Team Racing came out, and at first It was like, it looked awesome, like in terms of you unlock stuff, and then they added some microtransactions to it. And from what I remember, it wasn't like too scummy or anything. It was just the fact that it didn't like launch with it. They added it in after the fact, and I hope that that's not the case. But at the same time, I don't care. Like, as long as you have a campaign and everything that I can play through without having to give you extra money, like as long as it's just something like skins. I've never had a problem with skins that are microtransactions. I know that in the olden days you could unlock them and everything, but people, like I keep telling you, games are more expensive. They need to make money. So, support them if you want to, or just play the base game if you want to. That's fine too.
That's exactly right. And I agree, if it's not pay for play, and love it or hate it, Fortnite has done really well when it comes to microtransactions because, yeah, like I said, you can hate it because of the amount of money that they're getting out of kids, but at the same time, it's not pay to win. It's also not random chance. You're buying dances, you're buying emotes, you're buying skins, you're buying different paragliders and stuff. And doing that, at least you're like, I'm going to get this and it's X amount of dollars, as opposed to a random loot element, a random gambling element. So I'm glad it doesn't have that, at least.
For sure.
Yeah, good stuff. We had some weird stuff coming out with Crucible. By the way, this is gameplay off IGN. I stole it because I can't find much anywhere.
You're not going to be able to find the game anymore either.
That's exactly right. Went back into beta. I loved your lead up on this. You ever seen a game unreleased? Because Amazon has. I can't remember. I have seen, and we've talked about this when it comes to digital games and digital anything. You don't own your game. You own a license to download it and play it, and they can revoke it at any time. You've seen that happen. If you have it downloaded on your system, you're probably good, but you may not be able to re-download. In this case, they have unreleased the game. It's back into beta. Wow, how can you stumble like that?
I was doing some research on this because I obviously found the thing because I had never heard of it. I was made aware of one game where they completely took a game off that they had released. It was like a sequel to another battle royale game, I think a year or two ago, and sorry, I forgot to copy down the name, but that went completely off. They just took it off the marketplace as opposed to going back to beta. And then Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, formerly of Kotaku, said he'd never seen anything like it. So if Jason Schreier's never seen anything like it, then Patrick and I certainly haven't. Imagine having so much money in the world that you could bomb a game this bad and say, we're not going to cut our losses. We're going to take it back to beta and we're going to attempt to make it somehow better. But everybody that I saw that played this game said it was not good.
Yeah, they're trying to get that Overwatch money is what it is.
Well, they're trying to get on that BR thing. Fortnite is you finally see some chinks in the armor of Fortnite. It doesn't have the buzz it did 2 years ago. It's had a good run. You see people like Ninja where like they're playing other games now. The new Counter-Strike style game. What's the name of that? No, not Dauntless. Dang it. You know which game I'm talking about?
I can't remember the name of it though.
I was about to say Crucible, but Crucible is what we're talking about. It's the new game by Riot. It's Riot Games' new team-based shooter. I am mad at myself for forgetting it. You see games like that.
It's Valorant.
Valorant, yeah. So you see Ninja's even been playing some Valorant, and Ninja obviously made his career off of Fortnite. So there's going to be a medium there. The battle royale genre ain't going anywhere. A lot of people are playing COD Warzone. Apex is doing fairly well right now. There's even a game that came out today from Ubisoft. I was watching a little bit of it earlier, Hyper Drifter or something like that, and it looks dope. It's extremely fast paced. And then you have this, and this game, I just like how you just keep showing this little hopping dude around. It makes me think of like a Rocket Raccoon.
And you know what? Like, this is not a loop. He is like that.
This is not a loop. I thought you looped it.
Dude, this is
for those of you who are not watching. Like
we're like 3 minutes into a 15-minute thing of a hopping raccoon. I have not looped anything. That's how repetitive this is. I will say some of the artwork looks a little interesting when you had what I don't know if that was a world boss or what you call that thing that they just fought here a minute ago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's that repetitive and that annoying that he is hopping like that. I would have rather had a waddle than a hop like that. I know it's cute, but it's only cute for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's third person probably killed it for me. I think Fortnite's really the only like game to me in terms of like this multiplayer battle royale thing where like PUBG did it at first, but then PUBG switched to first person and everybody stopped playing the third person version. it just, I don't know, the genre's moved on. You got to go first, and I don't want to stare at that hobby raccoon. I don't care if I am a raccoon in first person and there's like that mechanic to it, but to me then like you have this like gun mechanic that all of a sudden wouldn't work. So whatever, it's going back to beta. Nobody's gonna play it. I feel bad saying that. I don't mean to be mean, but especially if you look at this new one that just came out today that was built for Twitch. It's extremely fast paced. It's cool. I would check that out instead of this.
Yeah, I'd also check out some PlayStation Indies. We got the PlayStation Indies initiative going on. 9 PlayStation indie games. I should have segued when we were talking about the demos for Xbox into this, but another thing that I absolutely love, Haven.
I'm so excited about that game.
Dude, I like when we get to see indies spotlight like this, because you get to see games you may or may not have checked out before. Creeks looks really interesting to me. I like the weirdness, little puzzles and stuff. But I like that we're getting this. E3 tends to be a time where you get a nice spotlight on indie games. So I thought this was really cool to see the spotlight coming up.
What makes it even better? So they called it the PlayStation Indies Initiative. The blog post was written by one Shuhei Yoshida, former president, and now Shuhei baby, Shuhei's so awesome. If you don't know who he is, I think that PlayStation 4 was as successful as it was early on because they had great indie support. I think that Sony pushed a lot of indies whenever their first party was still working on games, because those who don't remember, like if you look at the launch of PS4, it wasn't very first party filled. We had Killzone, but like Uncharted came along in 2016, and then Horizon was 2017, God of War was 2018, Spider-Man was 2019. So like, and there's been a Bloodborne was a bigger early game, but aside from that there wasn't a whole lot going on. And I think that Sony did a great job of cultivating good indie talent, and I think by doing this initiative before PS5 launches, I'm hoping that means that they're getting back into it, because they kind of fell off it. There was a lot of rumors circulating the last couple of years about that Sony doesn't really care about you guys anymore. We don't need you. We made, we sold 120 million units. And hopefully Shuhei, being the genius that he is and a lover of indies, Shuhei's a big indie supporter, and that's why he is kind of on this now. I'm hoping this means that we get more stuff, because there's great talent out there. You can't have every game be a AAA game. I know that Haven isn't console exclusive, but Haven's from the people who made Fury, and it looks amazing. Like Patrick pointed out, there's some other good ones in there. So check it out on the thing. That they announced 8 games, but I'm hoping that this is the start of more. I went to the storefront today just to see if they would talked about it at all, and you could actually click a thing that said PlayStation Indies, and it listed like 30 games, and hopefully that means that's something that's going to grow. Hopefully that becomes a part of the storefront where it's like I can go to PlayStation Indies. That means Sony backed this game, threw some money at some small developers. That means that they say this game is probably at least worth checking out, and that excited me. So I'm hoping that they push that more towards PS5.
Yeah, I agree. We saw something similar with Nintendo with the Nindies. So I think this is cool for PlayStation to do it as well. Because, like you said, there's some amazing stuff going on that is on PlayStation, that can be on PlayStation, and I think part of this is also PlayStation's response to a lot of the trash that ended up on PlayStation 4's indie floor, if you will. So it's a way for them to say, hey, there's some really cool indie stuff. Let's spotlight this, and let's support these indie devs. So it's all good stuff. Carving out the book ending, as we talked about Last of Us earlier on. I meant to talk about this earlier, so we're going to bookend with some more Last of Us talk. Naughty Dog is, as we talked about, there are controversies and alleged controversies and all that, things people didn't like. but the accessibility options in The Last of Us 2, Naughty Dog is sharing with other AAA developers to allow for more people. And the accessibilities in regards to this, they dealt with vision accessibilities, if I'm not mistaken, on that, being able to and sharing that with other developers, so that way they can help their games and they can have it be more inclusive for their development. I think is really cool. It's something we've seen Xbox do something similar, but it's really cool to see Naughty Dog push for that.
Well, it's not just vision. So you can play The Last of Us 2 being extremely vision limited. You can also play The Last of Us 2 being very, from what I can tell, auditory limited. Like,
Hearing
so
deficient. I don't know what the I don't know what the
I don't
nice
want to be
politically correct term for hearing impaired. Hearing impaired. There we
there
go.
we go. Yeah, that's a good. So you can play this game. I've actually even turned on a few myself just because they included them. But if anybody picks up The Last of Us, just take a moment to look through. I don't know if you've checked it out, Patrick, but like there's a combat list to make combat extremely, and I'm not saying this meanly, but easier. Like,
Sure.
because again, I've mentioned earlier in this podcast, it's a stressful game, and but
if you
can
have
experience the
dexterity
story.
issues, if you have dexterity issues with your hands or something, you can still experience the story and still be challenged. And the level that you can be challenged, you can challenge yourself. Everyone starts it's like fitness, right? Everyone starts at different levels. Well, if you already have accessibility issues, maybe you don't have the dexterity. These games nowadays have quite a bit of dexterity involved.
I'll give an example. So you can stealth kill enemies. That's not a spoiler. And part of the stealth killing is you grab them. And in normal settings, if you grab them and you don't do anything to them, they will break free. But an accessibility setting you can turn on is they don't break free. So if you grab them, they won't break free from you. So you can, if you have an issue there where you've grabbed them and now you're having to switch to do your stealth kill or whatever it is, they're never going to break free from you. So however long it takes you to get to the next step of stealthing them, you can do that. There's a thing where there's some swimming sections of the game that got advertised. You can turn on to where you have unlimited oxygen, because it is a little hard to navigate at times. There's some moments in there where there's some tunnels and you really can't see very well.
Yeah.
So you can turn on unlimited oxygen. I turned on the one that automatically picks up stuff for you. So every piece of ammo and everything, I just walk by it, and Ellie just.
I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to turn that on when I play through it.
It's a great feature. And then I was already starting to edge towards easy, but I turned on the feature that makes them that makes their aim worse. So.
Okay, see, I may do that as well. Now, and that's totally important. I mean, okay, so. Example, Dark Souls is obviously considered, it's known for its hard difficulty. If I want to do a jumping attack, or there's an attack in Dark Souls that you have to tap up while you're hitting your attack button, right? So you can't hold up. You have to tap up at the same time as you hit your attack in order to do that type of attack. If you're doing it on a Switch, it's actually loud. Like, I was playing it, Whitney and I were watching some stuff and chilling out, watching Netflix, and she's on her phone and I'm on Switch, and she's like, you don't have to hit it that hard. I wasn't hitting it hard. It's just you have to really go at it. So I'm thinking a game like that, for someone who has problems with in regards to their limbs, in regards to neurological whatever's going on, they won't be able to experience that. And games should be able to be enjoyed by everyone. Owen and I have talked about this time and time again. There's a reason we do a freaking gaming podcast about this. Games are some of the greatest art that is coming out in this generation, and for people not to be able to experience it that want to is a shame. So I'm really glad that Naughty Dog did this for fans that want to enjoy this story. As Whitney and I are probably going to play it. I'm probably going to hit it on easy and have her play, and I'm going to experience the story with her because I want to experience it with her. And if she gets frustrated, she doesn't want to play the game. So sometimes it has to do with that because you're just not, you're not hardcore, get good. Sometimes you have reasons that, hold you back. So
Well,
yeah.
my wife will walk by me on the game, and she's like,
Yeah.
and I'm a very visibly frustrated guy, and sometimes I'm a very audibly frustrated guy. We keep it clean on this podcast, but
Mhm.
and she'd be like, "Well, you look like you're having fun," and I always have to be like, "Well." In general, I am having fun, but yes, that was frustrating. But then when it comes to Last of Us, like she won't even watch the game because of how
Really?
stressful it is. Like, she sat there
Wow.
for a couple times with me, and it was too much for her in terms of just like she could like. And I'm playing with headphones, so there's no sound for her. She's
Yeah.
literally just watching the subtitles and then whatever's on the screen. And she's like, "Nope, I'm out." And then she could see what it was like doing to me during some of the situations where I'm like tense on my
Yeah.
controller, like trying to make sure. And it's a tense game, so like I don't blame anybody that turns that down. But again, the fact that Naughty Dog is not only did this for the game, but that they're also like, hey, if anybody wants to know what we did, how we did it, we want to talk to people about it. They basically open their doors to anybody that wants to talk to them about accessibility
Mm-hmm.
in games. And that should be praised. Like all the controversy on their them as a studio aside, like the more inclusive we can make games in general, the better. Like I don't expect Miyazaki to start making Souls games with accessibility options. Sorry, folks, but you can buy it on PC and you can mod the crap out of it. That's how I know some
Yeah,
people
that's
play through
basically.
Sekiro.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's basically. I will say Elden Ring. That's the next Miyazaki game that's coming out. I'm excited for it. I guarantee it's going to be difficult. I don't know. He has said it's the next evolution of Dark Souls, but I don't know what that means. Does that mean it's still going to have the corpse run of losing all your stuff? So who knows? Anyways, let us know what you think about that gaming news. Let us know in the comments. Check out the new show, Breaking Cinematic Universes, and please be excited for Ex Libris coming out next month. We'll see you guys later.
Okay, bye.